Hey guys!
Hey guys!
Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I thought I would do a little bit of a Q&A, just get to know me with Bobby because he's been on my channel more recently and just people seem to really enjoy you on my channel for some reason. Hopefully it's funny and entertaining for you guys. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get started.
Don't do that YouTube voice.
Oh yeah, let's get started.
I'm gonna let you tell the story first because I don't even know if I've ever heard your version of it. We always tell it combined.
Well, it's not very controversial.
Also, I need to finish my sandwich.
Well, we're a freshman orientation at BU. Broke us up into groups to go on these little city excursions so you could go see what Boston was like. I got broken into a group. I didn't really like the group I was with. It just felt like...
Basically, Bobby came from an all-boys school, and there weren't enough girls in his group.
There were
Be
none.
honest, that is exactly what you were thinking.
Engineering guys, and I knew that was going to be the next 4 years. So I was like, can I at least make some friends that aren't going to be engineering guys on day one? So I just went to a different group and happened to be Kelsey's group. And then that's how I met Kelsey. We
chose the excursion to Faneuil Hall. If you live in Boston or know Boston, you know what that is. And I remember I saw you across the train. I wasn't standing next to you on the train and I was like, oh my God, that guy's so hot. Target acquired.
So you're saying that you stalked me?
No, everything after that happened naturally,
That's
but
true.
I had definitely noticed you. So that kind of leads us into our next question, which is first impressions. Our orientation was 2 or 3 days. I don't know.
I think it's 3.
So you live in the dorms 2 or 3 days, whatever it was. We spent all of the orientation time together, hung out until 3 or 4 a.m. every night. It was just so much fun. And then after that, after we all left orientation, we all Google Hangouted. I don't know how many times over the summer, but that's kind of how we got to know each other. And I give that background because first impressions kind of encapsulate our entire orientation together. It doesn't have to be the first 10 minutes of knowing each other.
The whole orientation?
Yeah. First impressions, thought he was super hot and I thought you were super funny. Loved your sense of humor. I'm always attracted to senses of humor for some reason. So that was definitely the first thing that attracted me to you.
Well, this is a tough question for me because I don't feel like I got a very strong impression of you during orientation itself, but rather over the summer instead.
Oh yeah? Then please do tell.
And for whatever reason, I felt like that you and I were on the call at the same time more often than not. Even a couple times where it was just us either at the beginning or the end.
Oh yeah, I do remember that actually.
I feel like it was talking to you then that I realized that you were actually someone that was nice to talk to. Talking to you, oh wow, I actually really like talking to Kelsey. She's really interesting.
Aww. Aw,
I remember being intrigued. And I thought you were funny pretty quickly too, because you don't have a very reserved sense of humor. As soon as you feel like you're comfortable, you're just raunchy.
By the way, in case you're wondering what we're doing, we're sitting here filming this video while eating Swiss Bakers. I mentioned this in the best takeout food of Boston video that I posted last week. It's become a weekend ritual for us, especially we started doing it back in March and have gone every weekend. So some croissants.
Yeah, this is a back-to-back day.
Yeah, we went yesterday too.
Maybe they don't remember us, but we know that they do because one guy recognized Kelsey's name from the video last time.
Yeah, that was super awesome.
So the pressure is on.
Well, the other thing I'll say about my first impression that so after orientation, I went and visited my mom's cousin, so I don't know what that makes her to me, but first cousin, second cousin, in Long Island, and I went there with my friend Gabby, and both Maril, who's my mom's cousin, and Gabby remember me talking about you after orientation because I just I obviously already had a crush on him, and I mean we still talk about it to this day. Every time we're isn't it just so funny that guy that you were all smitten with after orientation somehow 7 years later is, I don't know.
I'm surprised that you're willing to admit that.
Yeah, why is that a bad thing?
I don't know, it would just feel... Because if there's one thing that I feel kind of bad about now that we've been together for 7 years, and we're definitely a little out of sync.
Yeah.
It
was
we started dating super fast once we got back to school, but the lead up to that is a little lopsided.
Yeah, so that's fine. Like,
Which
that's not a bad
which
thing.
I feel kind of bad about because I don't want that to imply that.
I mean,
like,
obviously it was like crush it. I wouldn't say love at first sight for me, but definitely like crush at first sight for me. But yeah, it was like a little longer. Just fine.
that's more a reflection of my personality.
That's true. We kind of
But
had...
what defines the date?
Exactly. We kind of had like a full day of a first date, I feel like. It was really fun going to college in Boston because we obviously spent a ton of time like going around the city, and our freshman year was a ton of just touring the city. He's from Massachusetts, but you hadn't spent a ton of time like actually in Boston before that.
Nope.
So our first date was going to, I don't remember the exact order of how we did these things, but part of our first date was going to the Skywalk at the top of the Prudential in Boston, which gives you like a 360-degree panoramic view of the city, which was awesome. And then
I know we
What
got
else did
Cold
we
Stone ice cream. Wait, let me get this straight. You wrote down a question about our first date and you don't even remember it?
No, I don't. Yeah.
And then we just walked around that like
Do we like do
park.
any
Well, there's that
meal?
like that Christian Science Plaza with the fountain. So we walked around that.
I do remember that. I had a Polaroid camera with me that day, and we still have some Polaroids of our first date.
Yeah,
oh
that's
my
funny.
God. So we have a two-part question here. Who said I love you first? Which is you.
Really?
Yeah. I remember it though because I had been wanting, like I'd been thinking it for a while, and then you said it and I was like, oh, I've been wanting to say that for a while too. Like that's how that happened.
Do you remember when it was?
We started dating in September, and I think we said I love you sometime in December.
I don't have these specific moments in my mind of like when something happened for the first time.
Yeah, I feel like that's more of a girl thing to remember.
Oh my god, that bug just kamikazed me. What the hell?
What was that?
It like literally went in my ear.
Bobby and I briefly talked about this in the car, and I honestly, now that I think about it, I think we have similar answers. So, when did you know you were in love? What's your answer to
My
that?
answer is that I don't remember having that revelation.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a gradual thing. Like I don't remember, there was never like a light bulb moment. It was just like,
Yeah.
yeah I love him. Yeah. In general, not related to living with each other, and then like pet peeves of living with each other. I think I have two main pet peeves. There were many small ones. It was when we first started dating, and I don't blame you for it because I know how you grew up and like this is how his dad would treat him. But like if I was happy with like a 91 or a 92 in a class or on a paper, like on an assignment, he'd be like, but like what'd you miss? Like why didn't you get 100? And I'm like, what? Excuse me? I
Yeah.
got an A. That's his type of grades and his type of mindset. Quickly, like a few months into our relationship, I had to be like, Bobby, this does not work for me. You cannot say this to me.
Okay, but in my defense, it wasn't like...
I just offended you.
No, you didn't. It wasn't like you get a 92 on a test, I'm like, that sucks. What'd you do wrong? It was like, I like to have intelligent conversations with people, so it's like, oh, like, what things did you not get? Not like, what didn't you get, dumbass? Like, oh, what else didn't you get?
Oh God, I have two more. Okay. This is the most important thing, genuinely, is when something I say is right and he dismisses it, and then later I turn out to be right. So if that doesn't make any sense, let me give you an example. 2 years ago, I think it was, we had a huge snowstorm, and the next day he's driving and his tire was like wobbling somehow. And he like tells me about it. I'm like, I bet there's just snow or ice build up in your tire. Like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And he's like he just dismissed me. I can't remember what he said. He calls his dad, and him and his dad like both agree like, oh, he's gonna have to buy new tires, like this whole thing. I'm like, I don't know, like I think it might not be that big of a deal. He calls a mechanic and they give him the same answer that I gave him. And this is what he does. This happens like every time this sort of situation happens, is he comes to me and tells it to me like it's new information. He's like, so guess what? Like super surprising. The auto mechanic said it might just be snow or ice. Like, isn't that crazy? And I'm like, were you not there when we had this conversation? And that happened again recently. Do you want, I have one, no. I'm good there. I'm cutting it there. What's yours?
I can't think of any pet peeves. Like, you should have had me do this.
Well, I guess I'm just perfect.
No. That you don't like to tuck in the feet of your side of the bed. It makes making a bed impossible, because that's how you make a freaking bed.
No, but then when you slide into the bed, your feet are like claustrophobic. Like, I need the sheets like nice and open so that my feet can like breathe.
Continuing off that, this is related mostly to you taking naps, but I guess it also happens when you're asleep, just in general. You are a spaz. Like,
I do. It's actually
you have
true.
random. You wake up from, I don't know if it's a dream or just you just shake once. Like, every single time you fall asleep.
That's true.
And I'm sure it's more of a pet peeve for our cat than it is for me, because he usually gets yeeted.
That's
But
so
even yesterday,
true.
you're sleeping on the couch. You had been out for maybe 10 minutes, because I was sitting next to you on your laptop on Amazon. And then you just like jolted and just kicked me in the side of the thigh because you were laying down on the couch. It's weird. It's creepy.
I completely agree, Ashley. I have no idea why that happens to me. It's like that falling off a cliff dream that people talk about. But like, for some reason, I always have a dream like that every time I fall asleep.
Maybe if your sheets were a little tighter, you would feel more secure in your
Whatever,
dreams. You wouldn't freak
BS.
out. Favorite things to do together.
I mean, there are like a couple different answers for this. When it comes to just our daily lives, I think we would agree on this, one of our favorite things to do together is like go out to either Swiss Bakers on the weekend or this place near us called Press. Those are our two favorite like weekend places. And we take crosswords and we just sit there and like enjoy our time. And it's just like a slow weekend
That's probably
morning.
what I would have said too.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's my favorite thing.
And like, I even love to do that like when we're traveling and stuff, like finding a place to sit down and like just like drink a coffee and like do a crossword. Love that. It honestly is like, that's one of those moments where it's like the small things in life. I think another thing too is like, we're both relatively like nerdy, kind of. Not like he's
In
way
different
nerdier
ways.
than we are, nerdy in different ways, but like compared to the normal population, I think we're both relatively nerdy.
Well, yeah, you just admitted to enjoying crossword puzzles. So.
Yeah, so on branching off of that, we love to like go to museums together.
That's true. Love that.
Love that.
I really do love that.
Yeah. I love traveling with you because like, I don't know, I always feel like our relationship like hits a high point when we're traveling or like right after we've traveled. I don't know. I feel like those are
Not right after, but during. Because right after traveling, that's usually when we hit some of our low points, because you're always like, let me plan the next one.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
like,
do get
"Can
home
we
from a
just
trip and I'm
enjoy?"
like, I need to go again.
So then you're like, do you mind if I book you a flight for $18 million 6 months from now, exactly to the day, and you have to go? And I'm like, we just got home. So
Oh, it's true. Bobby got super lucky the first time we ever traveled together. I mean, we all did, but so our first trip was a New Year's trip. He came over after Christmas. We spent New Year's in Prague. Then we went down, I think our cruise started in Italy and went like around the Mediterranean. But we got super, like I was already in Germany, he was still in the States. When my mom and I find out that our cruise with MSC got upgraded to Yacht Club, which like...
Which is like pimp status.
It is, if you look it up, Yacht Club is naturally like 5,000 or more per person. We had probably paid like 700 or less for each of our tickets. So it was just like a humongous upgrade. And the things that come with Yacht Club are like private butler service, an upgraded room. We loved our pillow menu. If you didn't like your pillows, you could look at the pillow menu and order any pillow you wanted. You could have as many as you want.
At like 3 a.m. Be like, Charles, bring me a new pillow.
Yeah. What else? Oh, like unlimited mini bar. Oh, you had like a private dining area. Oh, unlimited drinks, which we did not take enough advantage of.
Yeah, that's my one regret. Private upper deck, hot tub and pool.
Yeah, so one thing we
like
didn't know,
separate
we
from
had,
the plebs.
I had, Bobby, this was Bobby's first ever cruise, so it set the standards real high. But I'd been on cruises before and I never realized that there were areas of the ship that were blocked off. Like it just like didn't register with me.
Because the doors didn't even look like doors.
You don't, yeah. But like there are whole areas of the ship that are private for Yacht Club members. It was just crazy.
With this
It was
huge
a
window.
freaking amazing cruise. And just can't be beat. Can't be beat unless we get upgraded to Yacht Club again. Shout out at
We'll
MSC.
pay for it when we make more money.
Yeah, but it tastes sweeter when you get it for free.
True. Especially on attempt number 1 for me.
Yeah. And then when we were done with the cruise, we went back to Germany, and you saw
Rothenburg, Neuschwanstein,
and
Strasbourg, France.
Yeah. Great first trip. That was amazing. Just to finish off this video, I thought it'd be fun to do some of those who's more this, who's more that things.
Mm-hmm.
The first one of these is who's the worst driver. 3, 2, 1. We fight about
evidence.
this all the time. One thing that you do that really annoys me is if someone's braking in front of him, he just continues to accelerate until I think we're about to like rear end them every single time.
Here's my counter evidence. I've never rear-ended someone, you have, and I've never driven on the wrong side of the highway in Europe, which you have.
Listen, that's a story for another time, but that story is not black and white. Anybody would have driven on the opposite side of that highway.
Except me.
If they were from the States. Who is cleaner? 3, 2, 1. I will admit this, and I'm actually really grateful for it. I will say one thing that's funny about him is, in other ways, he reminds me of a college student sometimes. So there are 2 things that I can point out where it's just like, I'm literally dating a college boy still. And I'll be like, the trash smells, like, we need to take out the trash. And he'll be like, no, I'll just spray it. Like, no, we need to take out the effing trash. And then the other thing is,
I don't empty the dryer. I
yeah,
know.
he does a load of laundry and then just leaves it in the dryer forever. And then
God forbid.
I'm like here wondering like, why don't I have any socks? And then they're in the dryer. I'm like, come on, dude. It's part of the full circle of doing laundry. You have to do the whole thing.
You could empty the dryer.
But I usually don't know until I go looking for something.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's true.
oh, the dryer's still full.
I stealth leave it in there.
Who is more competitive? I'm actually thinking about my answer right now. I really don't know.
I have my answer. I disagree.
Okay, why?
Because I feel like everything's a competition with you. Everything is a confrontation with you, especially
don't know.
because
I think
I
an
always
even tie.
win, so I don't see it as a competition.
Oh yeah, like exhibit A of competitiveness right here. Oh my god. Who is more dramatic? Molly is like the biggest effing drama queen I've ever met. If you ever ask him to do anything he doesn't want to do, it's like, this ruins my entire day. This ruins my entire week. I usually almost always get out of bed before him. And so I'll be up for a little while. I'll be like sitting in our kitchen or on the couch and I'll start hearing like, and it's him like grunting as he tries to get out of bed. Like, what?
It's a struggle.
It's ridiculous.
It's 'cause we have a
so
really
dramatic.
comfy bed.
And then so I'll hear him grunting and I'll like ignore him and then he'll be like, help, help. Oh god.
Yeah, I'm more dramatic.
Who has more of a temper? 2, 1.
Yeah.
There's really no arguing this. It runs in my family.
Yeah, you can be talked down. You just cannot mess up when you're angry. It's like you expose the part of you that's like willing to blow up really quickly, but as long as you don't do anything to set off the Kelsey nuke during that time, everything will be okay.
I think that about wraps it up. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, a little bit insight into our relationship. If you enjoyed it, ooh, it's starting to rain, perfect time. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe and like the comment.
Subscribe.
Like and comment if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.